bunch of questions for you. You've now shot 3 seasons of Vikings, Valhalla. Which season do you think ended up being the more challenging of the seasons? And I'm just wondering if it's season 1, because that's where you're like starting everything and figuring out your characters and all that.
I think for me, season 2 was the most challenging one. I felt so connected to Freydís from the moment I was first introduced to her in the self-tape stage. And filming season 1 was such an instinctual journey. I mean, I had the best cast members, my brother and my lover, to lean on, and we just worked so well together. And season 2 was a bit of a challenge. We're pulled apart from each other. You guys continue your bromance, and I'm diving into a whole new world as a mother. So it's a very vulnerable experience. And it was definitely some of the scenes we shot were absolutely the most challenging I've ever done in my career.
Yeah, I'd hesitate to say one was, they all had their different challenges. I think, yes, season 1, the challenge is kicking things off and really pitching where that you want that character to be. And then in the seasons that follow, it's more in your body already. It feels more natural. And we had COVID to contend with in the first season, which put this whole strange parameter on how you go about filmmaking. And I think for the challenges for season 2, Harald had to do some big fight scenes and torture scenes. So physically there was a challenge in the second season that surmounted the one that I faced in the first season. Yeah. And just wait till season 3.
And for myself, likewise with Frida, first season felt very instinctual. It felt like we were hitting the stride very nicely. The second season for me was definitely the most challenging on an emotional level. We're seeing the falling apart of a man, and when you're playing a role, you can't help but open yourself to the aspects where your life is similar to theirs, or you're searching for that inspiration around you. So if you're searching for sorrow, grief, anger, you're going to find it in your own life, because you're living in that world for so long. And so I found it mentally and emotionally probably the hardest part of the filming of the whole 3 seasons.
And the second season, it was something Jeb said early on. He's throwing these characters out of their comfort zones, all of them. We're banished, we're exiles. And so if we did get comfortable and thought we knew where we were by the end of season 1, we got thrown out into a whole different set of circumstances. And it was a big refresh, a big reset. Harald and Freydís say goodbye early on, and Leif and Harald find themselves in foreign lands.
Last night we spoke a lot about season 2. I got a whole bunch of information. Thing I didn't ask you guys at all was about season 3. So I'm just going to say F it and throw it out. Obviously, you 3 survive into season 3, I'm assuming. So what can you say about it as compared to the first 2 seasons without sort of giving it away? You know what I mean? Because we haven't gotten to the end of 2 yet.
There's Netflix people in the room. I just want to make sure how legit. Yeah.
We're getting
I don't mess around. I go right for the jugular.
Why not?
Yeah, it's good. It's bold of you to do that. I mean, season 3 is absolutely incredible, and I can't wait to talk to you about it when we get the chance. But now we're in season 2, and that's also incredibly exciting. So let's stay here.
Yeah,
sure. No, totally. Well, I have quotes from last night that I'm going to use, but that was a very good maneuver. I appreciate that.
Yeah.
I think for Leif, in season 2, where kind of, I'm sure you may have felt in your life when you became doing the job you're doing, you were like, oh, this is exactly what I'm meant to be doing. And the kind of steps to that realization is what season 2 is. And as we come to season 3, he realized, oh, this is exactly what I'm meant to be doing.
I'd add to that as well, because I think, here we go. It's a free for all. What? No, I think that's season 2 is like the beginning, the early stage of the transformation of Harald Sigurdsson into Harald Hardrada. This is the man who the legends are about. And if season 2 is the early stage of that, season 3 is going to be a continuation of this transformation of a prince into a king.
Thank you for answering the question. Some of you, I'm teasing. When you're reading the scripts and you see, what are you more excited to see? A meaty dialogue scene or a scene where you get to absolutely kick ass?
Meaty dialogue. For me, meaty dialogue, to be able to, like, this show has such pace, and an amazing action, but to have that time, that moment of stillness where we get to express what's actually internally going on with our characters, and often it's, you know, with one another, although we part ways with Freydís, myself and Harald, or Leif and Harald. Leif and Harald certainly show a part of themselves to each other that they don't show anyone else, and that's really those moments.
They're the North Stars for one another. We have nice scenes where when things are down and when Harald or Leif need to pick me up, we both sort of provide it at different times.
Yeah. I love for Freydís, she doesn't really, I mean, saying goodbye to the two most meaningful people in her life, she has to navigate season 2 kind of by herself. It's a kind of an internal season, and for me, I love being able to have these quiet kind of moments of solitude, whether it be Freydís praying or Freydís rediscovering new things in her faith, or discovering the temple in the forest, and just those little delightful kind of quiet moments, I think were my favorite season.
I'd add that it's hard to tell on the page. When you read an action sequence on a page, it never does justice to actually what it is when you see it in a stunt shed. So that moment of walking in and seeing what the stunt guys have cooked up for you and what you're going to have to perform early on is quite daunting. And you think, oh wow, how am I gonna do this? But they're an amazing team, and shout out to them because they make sure that we do. So
my last question for the three of you: making a show like this is a huge team effort. The crew, the cast, the camera, I mean, everybody has to come together. For each of you, who's an unsung hero? Someone that you just want to give a shout out to, that without their participation, this show does not happen.
Yeah,
I think for me, I have to give a shout out to Audrey, who worked so amazingly with me throughout all the 3 seasons in very complex costumes. She works to dress me, and she is just fantastic. Dragged all of my incredibly heavy armor up and down mountains, helping me go to the restroom when I can't unzip my pants because the wardrobe is too heavy. We get to know each other incredibly well, and she is the best. Shout out to Audrey.
my shout out would be that because we get to work really early, 4:30, but there's a whole bunch of people who are there way earlier than us. But yeah, in those early morning hours, you're there with your makeup team and your hair team. So Tom and Kate and Peter, thank you guys.
Yes,
I had the best time. They're the first people you see and the last people you see, and that sets you up for the day. So big love.
Tom, Joey, Virginia, Adriana, Kenny, Shane, Russell. Could go on.
How long you got?
Yeah.
Well, listen, I just want to say congrats. I really do hope the show keeps on running, and thank you so much for your time.
Thank you so much.
Thanks.
Cheers, man.
Bye.
Cool.